The peaceful watchers. Dr. Alina Vasquez pressed her palm against the observation deck's cold metal wall and stared into the endless darkness of space. 50 years. 50 years of watching, learning, and waiting. The coffee in her hands had grown cold an hour ago, but she barely noticed. Her mind was focused on the data streams flowing across her tablet, each line representing another piece of the vast puzzle that was galactic civilization. Titan Station floated silently in the asteroid belt, invisible to any scanning technology the galaxy possessed. The massive research facility had been humanity's best-kept secret for half a century. While Earth appeared to be a quiet, developing world to any alien observers, the truth was far different. Humanity had been watching the stars with careful, patient eyes. Another sleepless night, Alina. Captain Marcus Chen's voice carried the gentle concern of someone who had known her for 15 years. He approached the observation window, his footsteps echoing softly in the empty corridor. At 62, Marcus had spent most of his adult life aboard Titan Station, watching over the 3,000 researchers and support staff who called this place home. The Cathari Empire launched another scout fleet yesterday, Alina replied, not taking her eyes off the stars. They're expanding faster than we predicted. At this rate, they'll reach the outer colonies within 6 months. She turned to face him, her brown eyes reflecting the distant starlight. Marcus, I think they're planning something big. Marcus nodded slowly. As station commander, he received the same intelligence reports that kept Alina awake at night. The Cathari were a proud, aggressive species that had conquered 12 star systems in the past decade. Their technology was advanced, their military disciplined, and their expansion seemingly unstoppable. What worried him most was their recent interest in a small, unremarkable system on the edge of their territory. A system that contained a blue-green world called Earth. Have you discussed this with Professor Wright? Marcus asked. His insights into alien psychology might help us understand their intentions. Alina shook her head. James has been buried in the cultural analysis labs for the past week. He's been studying the Cathari's recent diplomatic communications, trying to understand their expansion patterns. But Marcus, I think we both know what this means. The captain was quiet for a long moment, watching the slow rotation of a distant asteroid. Titan Station had been built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, its surface carefully crafted to appear like nothing more than another chunk of space rock. The technology required to maintain such a deception was staggering, but humanity had learned to think in terms of decades rather than years. Contact Professor Wright and Lieutenant Kim, Marcus said finally. Emergency briefing in conference room Alpha in 30 minutes. If the Cathari are planning what we think they're planning, Earth needs to know. Alina felt a chill run down her spine. After 50 years of passive observation, humanity might finally be forced to reveal itself to the galaxy. The question was whether they were ready. In the depths of Titan Station, Professor James Wright was surrounded by holographic displays showing intercepted alien communications. The 60-year-old linguist had devoted his life to understanding the complex web of galactic politics, and what he saw in the latest Cathari transmissions filled him with dread. Computer, replay, transmission K7742, he commanded. The hologram flickered, showing the scaled, reptilian form of a Cathari admiral. James had learned to read their body language over the years, and every gesture this particular alien made spoke of conquest and domination. The third spiral arm holds many opportunities for expansion, the admiral was saying in the harsh, clicking language of the Cathari. Our scouts report a primitive world with abundant resources and a young species that has barely achieved interstellar travel. The planet they call Earth would make an excellent forward base for our operations. James paused the recording and rubbed his tired eyes. The Cathari had no idea that their primitive target had been listening to their conversations for decades. They didn't know that Earth's apparent technological backwardness was carefully maintained, camouflage. Most importantly, they didn't know that humanity had been preparing for this moment since the first alien signal was detected in 2157. His communication device chimed with an urgent message from Captain Chen. Emergency briefing. James gathered his data tablets and made his way through the station's corridors, passing laboratories where xenobiologists studied alien specimens, workshops where engineers reverse-engineered captured technology, and communication centers where linguists monitored dozens of alien languages. Lieutenant Sarah Kim was already in Conference Room Alpha when the others arrived. The young communications officer had joined Titan Station's crew only 5 years ago, but she had quickly proven herself indispensable. Her ability to crack alien encryption codes was legendary among the station's personnel. Report, Captain Chen said as soon as the door sealed behind them. Sarah activated the room's holographic display. We've been monitoring increased Cathari military communications for the past 72 hours. They're assembling a fleet near the Proxima Centauri system. Intelligence suggests they're planning a major operation. Alina leaned forward in her chair. How major? 300 ships, Sarah replied grimly. Battlecruisers, invasion transports, and support vessels. This isn't a scouting mission or a raid. This is a full-scale conquest fleet. Professor Wright added his data to the display. Based on their communication patterns and historical behavior, I believe they intend to claim Earth as their new colony. They've been studying our solar system for months, cataloging our resources, and evaluating our defenses, or what they think are our defenses. Marcus said quietly. The 4 humans sat in silence, contemplating the magnitude of what they were facing. The Cathari Empire commanded thousands of ships and ruled over billions of subjects. Their military technology was centuries ahead of what Earth appeared to possess. From their perspective, conquering humanity would be little more than a minor training exercise. We need to contact Earth Command immediately, Alina said. The Council needs to know what's coming. Marcus nodded. Sarah, establish a quantum communication link with Earth. Priority Alpha encryption. He paused, looking at each of his colleagues. After 50 years of silence, we're about to announce that humanity has been watching the galaxy all along. Sarah's fingers flew across her console. Link established. Earth Command is responding. The holographic display flickered, showing the face of Admiral Rebecca Torres, head of Earth's Deep Space Defense Network. She appeared to be in her office beneath the Swiss Alps, surrounded by displays showing the positions of ships and stations that the galaxy didn't know existed. Marcus, this is unexpected, Admiral Torres said. What's the situation? The Cathari Empire is assembling a conquest fleet, Marcus replied. 300 ships, headed for Earth. Estimated arrival in 6 days. Admiral Torres was quiet for a moment, her expression unreadable. Understood. How much do they know about our true capabilities? Nothing, Professor Wright interjected. They believe Earth is a primitive world with basic chemical rockets and simple satellites. They have no idea about our quantum communication networks, our stealth technology, or our defense fleets. Good, Admiral Torres said. That gives us The advantage of surprise. How long since your last supply run? 3 weeks, Alina answered. We're fully stocked and ready to continue operations. Change of plans, Admiral Torres said. Pack your essential research and prepare for immediate evacuation to Earth. If the Cathari are coming, we need our best people helping with the defense. Marcus felt a strange mixture of sadness and excitement. Titan Station had been his home for most of his adult life. The thought of leaving it behind was painful, but the prospect of finally emerging from the shadows was thrilling. What about the station? He asked. Skeleton crew only, Admiral Torres replied. We'll maintain the observation post, but most of your people are needed elsewhere. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity has been watching them for 50 years. It's time to show them what we've learned. Alina looked around the conference room one last time. This small, hidden facility had been humanity's eye on the galaxy for half a century. The data collected here had helped Earth understand alien technology, politics, and culture. Now that knowledge would be put to its ultimate test. Admiral, she said, what about first contact protocols? We've never officially made contact with any alien species. Admiral Torres smiled grimly. Dr. Vasquez, you're about to become humanity's first xenobiologist to meet aliens under combat conditions. I hope your research has prepared you for that. As the quantum communication link closed, the 4 humans sat in contemplative silence. Outside the conference room, Titan Station continued its quiet work, monitoring alien communications and gathering intelligence. But everything was about to change. The age of silent observation was ending. Humanity was about to announce its presence to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. Asterisk. The awakening Storm Admiral Kethva stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Crimson Talon, watching the blue-green world grow larger in the view screen. Earth appeared exactly as his scouts had described, a primitive planet with a young civilization that had barely mastered basic space travel. The few satellites orbiting the world were crude by Cathari standards, and the scattered space stations were nothing more than simple research outposts. Admiral, his tactical officer, reported long-range scans confirmed the initial assessment. The humans have approximately 200 satellites in orbit, mostly for communication and observation. No weapon signatures detected, no shield generators, no defensive platforms. Kethva's scaled lips pulled back in what his species considered a smile. Excellent. Begin the standard conquest protocol. Transmit the surrender demand in their primitive languages. Give them 1 solar hour to respond. The conquest fleet spread out in a standard formation, 300 ships arranged in a pattern that had intimidated dozens of worlds into submission. Battlecruisers positioned themselves over major population centers while invasion transports prepared to deploy ground forces. Support vessels began scanning for valuable resources and strategic locations on Earth, in the underground command center beneath the Swiss Alps. Admiral Rebecca Torres watched the Cathari fleet take their positions. Around her, hundreds of officers and technicians monitored displays showing the true scope of humanity's defenses. Ships that had been hidden in the asteroid belt for decades began moving into position. Stealth satellites that the aliens had, dismissed as primitive communication devices, revealed their true nature as sophisticated weapons platforms. They're following standard Cathari doctrine, reported Colonel David Park, Torres's chief tactical officer. Intimidation, formation, surrender. Demand, followed by orbital bombardment if we don't comply. Torres nodded. How long until Dr. Vasquez arrives? Transport from Titan Station lands in 10 minutes, Park replied. She's bringing the complete alien cultural database. Good. We're going to need every advantage we can get above Earth's atmosphere. The Cathari communications officer transmitted the surrender demand to what he believed was a primitive world. The message was broadcast on multiple frequencies, translated into the major human languages that their long-range monitoring had detected. Inhabitants of the Third World, the transmission began. You are now subjects of the Cathari Empire. Submit to our authority and your lives will be spared. Resist, and your world will be cleansed of your primitive species. You have 1 hour to respond. In the command center, Elena Vasquez arrived just as the transmission finished. She had spent the journey from Titan Station reviewing 50 years of research on Cathari psychology and culture. Her expertise would be crucial in the coming hours. Admiral, she said, approaching Torres's command station, I've analyzed their fleet composition and positioning. They're treating this as a routine conquest. They have no idea what they're facing. Torres looked at the tactical display showing the Cathari fleet in perfect formation above Earth. How would they typically react to unexpected resistance? Confusion first, Alina replied. Then escalation. The Cathari have never encountered a species that concealed their true capabilities. When they realize Earth isn't what it appears to be, they'll likely assume we received outside help. Perfect, Torres said. That works in our favor. Sarah, open a communication channel to the Cathari flagship. Lieutenant Kim, who had arrived with Alina, established the link. Channel open, Admiral. Torres stood before the main display, her expression calm and confident. This is Admiral Rebecca Torres of Earth Defense Command. We have received your surrender demand and formally reject it. You have entered our territory without permission and threatened our people. We suggest you reconsider your position. On the Cathari flagship, Admiral Kethva stared at the transmission in disbelief. The human female spoke with the confidence of someone commanding a superior force, but his sensors showed no hidden ships or weapons. Run full-spectrum scans, he ordered. These primitives may have allies we haven't detected. As the Cathari began their intensive scanning, Earth's true nature began to reveal itself. What had appeared to be simple communication satellites suddenly activated advanced stealth systems. Hidden weapons platforms emerged from lunar installations. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids shed their camouflage and revealed themselves as advanced warships. The asteroid belt itself seemed to come alive as dozens of vessels broke free from their rocky disguises. Titan Station, no longer needing to hide, activated its massive defensive systems and began coordinating the fleet movements. Admiral, the Cathari tactical officer reported, his voice filled with confusion. I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. Unknown. Vessels are decloaking everywhere. Sir, these aren't primitive satellites. They're advanced weapons platforms. Kethva felt a chill run through his scaled body. In 30 years of conquest, he had never encountered anything like this. How many ships? Still counting, sir. At least 500 vessels have revealed themselves, with more appearing every minute. Their technology appears to be comparable to our own, possibly superior in some areas. On Earth, Captain Marcus Chen commanded the defense fleet from his new flagship, the Silent Guardian. The ship had been under construction in the asteroid belt for 20 years. Its advanced technology, incorporating the best of human innovation and carefully studied alien concepts. All ships, this is Fleet Command, Marcus broadcast, execute. Formation, Delta. Show them what we've learned. The human fleet moved with precision that astonished the Cathari observers. Instead of the chaotic, desperate defense they had expected, they witnessed a coordinated military operation that spoke of decades of preparation and training. Alina watched the tactical display with satisfaction. They're completely confused. Look at their formation. They're trying to adapt to a situation they never imagined possible. Professor Wright, who had arrived with the evacuation team from Titan Station, studied the Cathari communication intercepts. They're debating whether to retreat or escalate. Their pride is warring with their survival instincts. Admiral Torres opened a new communication channel to the Cathari fleet. Admiral Kethva, this is your final warning. You have two choices. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences of your aggression. On the Cathari flagship, Kethva struggled to understand how a primitive world had hidden such military might. How is this possible? Our intelligence reports showed a backward civilization with crude technology. Perhaps, his communications officer suggested carefully, our intelligence was deliberately deceived. The implications hit Kethva like a physical blow. If the humans had been hiding their true capabilities, then they had been watching the galaxy for far longer than anyone suspected. Communications, relay this to High Command immediately. We need reinforcements. Torres intercepted the transmission before it could leave the system. I'm afraid we can't allow that communication to reach your empire, Admiral. Your scouts have been operating in our territory for months without permission. We've been monitoring your activities. Alina stepped forward. Admiral Kethva, I am Dr. Alina Vasquez, humanity's chief xenobiologist. I have studied your species for 15 years. I know your culture, your language, and your psychology. You value strength and honor above all else. Look around you, we have demonstrated both. The Cathari admiral stared at the human scientist in shock. She spoke his language perfectly, understanding subtleties that even allied species often missed. You have been watching us. We have been watching everyone, Alina replied. For 50 years, humanity has observed galactic civilization from the shadows. We learned your languages, studied your technologies, and understood your cultures. We chose not to reveal ourselves until we were ready. Captain Chen's voice joined the conversation. Admiral, your fleet is surrounded. Our ships outnumber yours, 2 to 1, and our weapons are designed specifically to counter Cathari technology. We have studied your tactics for decades. Asterisk. Professor Wright added his own analysis. Your species respects strength and preparation. We have demonstrated both. The question now is whether you will choose honor or destruction. Admiral Kethva looked at his tactical display, seeing his proud fleet surrounded by ships that had appeared from nowhere. The humans had achieved something no other species had managed. They had completely surprised the Cathari Empire. What do you want? He asked finally. Torres smiled. Recognition, respect, and an end to your expansion toward our territory. Humanity is claiming its place among the galactic powers. We have been silent guardians for 50 years. That silence ends today. The Cathari admiral considered his options. His fleet was outnumbered and outmaneuvered. The humans had demonstrated technological sophistication that matched or exceeded his own. Most importantly, they had shown the patience and wisdom to remain hidden until the perfect moment to reveal themselves. Very well, Kethva said. I will carry your message to the High Command, but others will come to test your strength. Let them come, Torres replied. We have been preparing for this moment for half a century. The galaxy will learn that humanity does not seek conquest, but we will not tolerate aggression. We are the silent guardians, and we will protect what is ours. As the Ketheri fleet began its withdrawal, Alina felt a mixture of triumph and apprehension. Humanity had successfully revealed itself to the galaxy, but this was only the beginning. Other species would come to test their strength, to understand this new power that had emerged from the shadows. The age of silent observation was over. The age of human participation in galactic affairs had begun. And across the galaxy, other species would soon learn that the quiet watchers from the small blue world had become the most formidable guardians the universe had ever seen. The stars themselves seemed to whisper with anticipation of what was to come. Asterisk.